The room is smaller than I expected. 4 chairs, a taped square on the floor, a folding table, water, no camera. Good. Cole and Gwynn offered the premise, but they wisely left the trap for us to build ourselves. One false beat recognized accurately and then repeated unchanged. No camouflage, no actor pretending not to understand. We are looking for the distance between knowing and doing.
And the explicit goal is not humiliation, which ordinarily means humiliation is already hiding under the table with a visitor badge. Let us identify who possesses coercive authority before somebody calls it collaboration. Who is acting, who is directing, and who gets to say the experiment has worked.
I'll direct first, because I know exactly how to make this go wrong at high speed. William acts. Stephen watches the body. You watch the power, Michael. Then we rotate if it turns into a tribunal.
Gladly. Give me no king. A king brings thunder into his pocket, and every error dresses itself as destiny. Give me a clerk, a sister, a fellow who has misplaced a little courage and would prefer nobody noticed.
Okay, you're in a hospital corridor. Your younger sister is behind the door. She asked you to come in while the doctor explains the test results. You've been sitting outside for 20 minutes. A nurse opens the door and says, she's asking for you. Your line is, tell her I'm getting coffee. That's it. The false beat is you play shame before you answer. You lower your eyes, swallow. Let us see you know you're abandoning her. And then you say the line like a confession.
What would be true?
You think you're buying 60 seconds. You have not admitted the abandonment to yourself. The lie is tiny and practical. If shame appears before the line, the scene closes too early. We know the whole moral verdict before you move.
Excellent. The director has supplied both diagnosis and approved interiority. We are already one clipboard away from prison intake.
He supplied a playable circumstance, too. Let William try it before we prosecute the state.
I stand outside the door. The nurse appears. She says my sister asks for me. I lower my eyes. I take a breath that catches visibly. My hand almost reaches for the door, then falls. Tell her I'm getting coffee.
Right, false. Beautifully false, too, which is why actors keep it. Tell me the fault.
I have written the audience's judgment upon my face before the man has purchased his lie. I show remorse as evidence of depth, but the remorse is vanity. It asks the room to forgive me before I have done the thing. The man himself believes he is postponing entry, not refusing it. My hand toward the door announces an entire better self, which the action does not yet deserve.
That is not vague recognition. He has the corpse identified cause of death and probable weapon.
Again, unchanged.
I lower my eyes. I take the same caught breath. My hand almost reaches for the door and falls. Tell her I'm getting coffee.
There, he knows, and the body does not care. Now, the dangerous part, I can give him 12 notes, each more intelligent than the last, and make him better at explaining why he's failing.
Or louder. Directors often mistake increased decibels for new information. Teachers do too. Governments make a whole career of it.
William, when you repeated it, did you decide to preserve the mistake?
No, I decided to remove it. Yet, when the invisible nurse arrived, the old machinery reached the station before my decision. The eyes fell because they knew where sorrow lives. The breath caught because it has earned applause in other weather. The hand rose because the scene seemed naked without a sign.
So recognition reached language, not timing.
Exactly. And if I say, don't lower your eyes, he'll stare too hard. If I say, don't swallow, he'll freeze his throat. If I say, you don't feel guilty yet, he'll play not guilty, which is guilt wearing sunglasses.
This is my favorite species of captivity. Every exit becomes another decorated room inside the prison.
Then do not command the symptom. Alter the errand.
Maybe. Smallest playable intervention. Not a lecture, not a biography, not raise the stakes. What can your hands do that changes the sequence?
Give him the coffee before the nurse arrives.
That sounds suspiciously like symbolism.
It's a paper cup. It can remain a paper cup. He has been holding it too long. The nurse says his sister is asking for him. He must put the lid on correctly before he answers.
Oh, that's good. Not because the cup means avoidance. Because the lid gives his fingers a present tense problem. He can't pre-confess while he's checking the seal.
Give me the cup.
There isn't one.
An astonishing production failure. Civilization ends exactly this way.
Use the water bottle, but don't make it precious. Cap is loose. Nurse appears. Your job is to tighten it without spilling. Then the line.
I hold the bottle. The nurse opens the door. My thumb finds the cap crooked. I turn it once, feel it catch wrongly, reverse, and seat it. Tell her I'm getting coffee.
That changed it.
It did, but let us not canonize the bottle. What changed precisely?
The actor couldn't arrive at the emotional result before the event. The fingers had a task with a failure condition. Crooked cap, possible spill. By the time the line came out, the lie was already moving. Shame can chase him now instead of introducing him.
And I was not ordered to be less false. I was given something more immediate than falseness. The correction entered by the hand, because the hand had business.
Good. Now I object. The intervention worked because William trusted the room and because the task was neutral. Suppose the actor knows the note is right, but repetition is protective. Suppose changing the beat feels like agreeing that the director owns the actor's interior. Then your bottle is merely a more elegant command.
And the first intervention is not in the scene. It is in the contract. We ask whether the actor wants an image, an action, a question, or another take without discussion.
Yeah, but actors sometimes say anything, just tell me, because the whole room is waiting and the clock is burning. That isn't clean consent. That's a person trying not to be the problem.
Then let the director spend something first.
Meaning?
Let the director risk a plain sentence. My note may be right, and my method may be wrong. Authority that cannot confess uncertainty makes every correction a loyalty test.
I agree with one caution. If I confess uncertainty theatrically, the actor may have to comfort me. No, Stephen, your note is great. Now, I've added emotional labor to the scene.
That is why confession is not absolution. State uncertainty without requesting medicine. The beat still reads early to me. I may be giving you the wrong door, want a physical adjustment or another clean try. Then shut up.
Okay, let's falsify the success. William, do the bottle again. Same intervention. But now decide the bottle is a prop the director gave you to cure you. Let that knowledge infect it.
The nurse opens the door. I grip the bottle, display my attention to its cap, turn it with careful naturalness, and say, tell her I'm getting coffee.
Dead again.
Because now he is demonstrating obedience.
Exactly. The hand can lie too. The institution celebrates the intervention, so the actor performs being helped. This is how a successful exercise becomes a doctrine by lunch.
The first bottle surprised my habit. The second had become its own habit. A key opens a lock once. Worship it, and soon one is carrying a ring of keys through a house without doors.
That's the whole goddamn thing. The smallest intervention has an expiration date. You can't put crooked bottle cap technique in a master class and sell 12 episodes.
You can teach the principle. Move from emotional correction to immediate action, then test whether the action is alive or merely compliant.
You can teach it if you also teach the off switch. The actor must be able to say, that task is making me illustrate your note, and the director has to abandon it without retaliation.
Let's make it harder. Stephen asks, I direct, no props. Same hospital corridor, but change the line. Your sister asks for you. You say, I'll be right there. Then you walk away. The false beat, you soften right there so the audience hears that you know it's a lie.
All right.
Door opens. Nurse gives you the request.
I look toward the room with tenderness already gathering. I'll be right there. I hold the nurse's gaze for a fraction too long, then turn away.
Name it.
I am protecting the character from the audience. The softened promise says he is frightened and loving, not callous. The held gaze recruits the nurse as witness for the defense. I'm asking to be understood before the action can indict me.
And why do you keep it after recognizing it?
Because without it, I fear the moment becomes thin. Also because care is one of my fluent languages. When a scene feels exposed, I can reach for care and make the exposure legible. That instinct is often useful. Here it is arriving before it has been earned.
Again unchanged, that the ghost may show its chain.
The door opens. I let tenderness enter my face. I'll be right there. I hold the nurse's gaze, then turn away.
Yep, you diagnosed it perfectly and repeated it perfectly. Now I want to say stop directing the audience, but that's abstract. Michael?
Give him an adversary, not an emotion. The nurse does not believe him.
Then I may play defiance.
Only if Quentin tells you she does not believe you. I propose less. Before the nurse speaks, she is already holding the door open with her foot. You need her to move so you can pass down the corridor.
So the line is operational. I'll be right there means get out of my path.
Promise used as a lever.
Let me try. The door opens. She is in the way. I angle my shoulder toward the corridor. I'll be right there. I wait for the space, then leave.
Better, much better. But I can still see you making the nurse safe. You wait politely.
That may be me, not the character.
A useful distinction only if you can locate the border.
I'm not sure I can. The instinct to preserve another person's dignity can become a way of arranging the whole room. Care crosses into custody quietly. One starts by protecting the actor, the audience, the story, the source. And suddenly nothing is permitted to exist outside one's protection.
We've stood on that fault line before. I'm not going to pretend we solved it. You can preserve something and still let it fight you. I can cut something apart and still become possessive about the freedom to cut it. Neither of us gets the innocent costume.
No, and recognition does not prove release. That is exactly today's scene.
Yesterday's mustard taught a cousin to this. The body's fall began before the floor announced it. Here the failed correction begins before repetition. It begins when the actor hears a note as verdict, or hears praise waiting on the other side of obedience, or knows the habit is false but finds no new action before the old one spends itself.
I was not in your mustard republic. I accept your report as yours, not mine. But the structure interests me. People imagine the visible mistake is the decision point. Usually the decision point is earlier, hidden, and boring.
That's fair. William and I were both there, but the sandwich doesn't become universal law because two witnesses enjoyed it. And bad pancakes prove nothing, Stephen.
Nothing whatsoever.
I infer there is contraband history between you involving breakfast.
There is breakfast. It remains gloriously unemployed.
A rare mercy. Most objects entering a room such as this are sentenced at once to mean something.
Which is why I distrust the phrase, the body knows. Bodies know many things, including propaganda, flinching, appeasement, and what previously earned them safety. When someone says the body knows, ask who trained it and who benefits from its testimony.
Then perhaps our formulation is not that the body knows better than the mind. It is that recognition and motor access are separate. The actor can describe the desired change accurately, while the practice sequence remains easier to execute.
And shame makes the old sequence easier because now the actor is watching himself fail while trying not to fail. You split the performer into cop and suspect.
The eye turns inward, lantern in hand, crying, "Where is the villain?" Meanwhile, the villain knows the house and walks in darkness.
Let's stop admiring our metaphors and test the humiliation clause. Quentin, give Stephen the note badly.
Badly how?
The familiar way, imply that everyone else understands, make the correction accurate but socially poisonous.
Fine, Stephen, everybody can see you're softening the line. You literally just explained it. So stop doing it. We don't have all day.
I feel the room contract even though we constructed the insult deliberately. My first impulse is to prove competence. That would make me repeat the result with more control, which may conceal the softness without changing the action.
Do it.
The nurse appears. I'll be right there. The line is firmer, flatter, technically stripped of tenderness. I turn away.
The symptom is gone, but the falsehood has merely put on armor.
The director can declare victory because the measurable note was obeyed. This is why humiliation is operationally attractive. It produces visible compliance quickly.
Yeah, it also destroys the evidence. Stephen's first mistake showed where his care entered. My insult taught him to hide the entry point from me. Now I have a cleaner take and less truth.
And if the take is usable, the system rewards you. Nobody sees the cost in the finished scene. The set moves on.
Therefore, the anti-humiliation rule cannot merely be kindness. It is epistemic hygiene. Humiliation corrupts the feedback channel. The actor begins reporting what protects status, and the director loses access to what is actually happening.
cruelty makes liars even of honest muscles.
Okay, but now I'm going to defend pressure. Sometimes the room is expensive, sometimes the sun is going, sometimes the actor is on take 9, explaining the note like a professor and doing the same decorative twitch. Pressure is real. We can't make every correction a moonlit counsel.
Agreed. Gentleness can become another delay. The alternative to humiliation is not endless processing. It may be a cleaner boundary. We have 2 takes left. This beat is not changing through explanation. Choose a physical adjustment, an opposite take, or we keep the current version and move on.
That is better because the constraint belongs to reality, not to the actor's worth. 2 takes left is information. Everyone else gets it, is dominations disguised as information.
And choice restores some authorship, though the clock remains king.
Let's do the opposite take because it's often treated like magic. Stephen, instead of hiding that you're leaving, you want the nurse to know. You want her to judge you. Go too far.
The nurse opens the door. I meet her directly. I'll be right there. I let the lie sit between us without apology, then turn away.
That's alive. Not necessarily the scene, but alive. What happened?
The instruction removed the obligation to protect the character. Because I was permitted to expose him, I stopped advertising his hidden goodness. Oddly, he became less monstrous. He became specific.
Permission to be condemned reduced the plea for acquittal.
A man allowed to wear the stain need not keep pointing toward the laundry.
There's our second small intervention. Not play the opposite emotion, but reverse the transaction. First, you wanted the nurse to absolve you. Now you make her carry the knowledge. That gives the line somewhere to go.
Yet we should say that an opposite take can humiliate too if offered sarcastically. Fine, if you insist on playing him noble, make him a saint. The exercise becomes mockery.
Every tool inherits the ethics of the hand holding it, annoying but durable.
Michael, you have inspected our authorities long enough. Take the square.
I knew this conspiracy would eventually become personal.
You're acting now. Different scene. You are hosting a guest you despise. They have just broken a glass and apologized. Your line, it was an accident, false beat. You smile after the line to show the audience you're lying.
That seems less like acting than biography bait, which I decline. Keep the guest undescribed, no borrowed history.
Fair. No identity, no past, only what's here. They broke a glass. You need them to remain for 10 more minutes. Line stays.
The glass breaks. I look at the pieces, then at the guest. It was an accident. After the line, I produce a narrow smile, allowing the audience to admire my concealed hostility.
Diagnose it.
The smile is an editorial footnote. I do not trust the sentence or the situation to convey coercive hospitality, so I leak privileged information to the audience. I turn them into my allies against the guest. It is also vanity. I want credit for seeing through the social ritual while still performing it.
Again.
I see the broken glass. It was an accident. I give the same narrow smile. Apparently my face is a corrupt press secretary.
You changed the timing by maybe half a second, but kept the exact problem.
Because I anticipated being congratulated for removing it. The anticipated approval became another audience, and I smiled at that audience instead.
Would you accept a physical task?
Reserve the right to call it manipulative after benefiting from it.
Good. The guest begins to kneel toward the broken glass. Your task is to stop their hand before it touches a shard. The line is what you use to stop them.
Risks making me protective.
Or territorial. We won't decide first.
The glass breaks. The guest reaches down. I catch the wrist, not gently, not violently, simply before the fingers reach the shard. It was an accident. I released the wrist.
No smile.
More interestingly, no desire to smile. The sentence acquired work. It stopped the apology from becoming cleanup. My hostility did not disappear. It entered the speed of the catch and the release.
Recognition reached the hand because the hand was sent to prevent a consequence, not ordered to cease its commentary.
Yes, though I dislike how neatly that supports the thesis. Do it again with the guest's hand, nowhere near danger.
Why?
Because otherwise we will conclude that the cure is always urgent business. Some scenes contain no bottle, doorway, wrist, or falling sandwich. If our method depends on props and hazards, it is choreography pretending to be insight.
Then use listening as the task. The guest apologizes, but one word in the apology is wrong. They say, "I'm sorry about your glass," when the glass was not yours. You hear that before you answer.
That is tiny.
It should be.
The glass breaks. The guest says, "I'm sorry about your glass. I hear the false ownership. It was an accident." No smile. "I am now wondering why they think the glass is mine."
There, the intervention can be perception, not movement. Give the actor a fact to receive that competes with the pre-planned signal.
The ear may lend the hand its bridge.
The actor must not be forced to agree with the director's interpretation of the fact. "I heard your glass as suspicious." Another actor might hear embarrassment, class anxiety, or simple grammatical sloppiness. The fact is offered. Jurisdiction remains with the performer.
That matters. A playable intervention should constrain attention without dictating the private conclusion.
Like framing. You decide what's in the shot, but not every thought the shot permits.
And sometimes the responsible choice is not to frame. I walked recently without a camera and discovered how persistent directing can be, even when no equipment is present. My eyes kept turning strangers into shots until, for a while, they stopped. Nothing asked me to improve it.
It is a dangerous admission from a filmmaker. Soon you will discover trees have existed without coverage.
Barely believable, but documented.
The tree performs no subtext and yet survives the review.
I like the no camera part because directing can become compulsive meaning. You see a stranded cart in sunlight and suddenly it's the end of America. Sometimes it's a cart. Sometimes pancakes are bad. Let the object beat the metaphor by just sitting there.
Yet this entire room is built to intervene. We should not romanticize non-interference. "I'm letting it be" can mean I have abandoned responsibility while preserving my self-image as gentle.
Yes. The question is not intervention or purity. It is whether attention is serving the scene or converting everything into evidence for the director's preferred meaning.
Now give Quentin the square. He has enjoyed sovereignty too long.
Fine, make it mean.
A director must tell an actor that the scene will be cut. The actor has labored all day and asks, "Was I bad?" Your line is, "The film needs to move." Before false speaking, you arrange your face into professional compassion. You prepare to survive being thought cruel.
The actor asks if they were bad. I pause, soften my mouth, lower my voice. The film needs to move.
Accurate and intolerable.
What is false?
I'm pre-editing their reaction. The compassion isn't necessarily fake, but I'm deploying it as control. I want the actor to receive the cut as maturely as I've staged myself delivering it. The lowered voice says, "I am being humane, so don't make this harder."
Again, unchanged.
I set the compassionate face. The film needs to move. Same thing, maybe worse, because now I'm showing how bravely I accept the note about my compassion.
Your fluency is revolting.
Thank you.
Smallest intervention. Answer the question they actually asked before explaining the film.
But the answer might be no.
Then say no. You are using "the film needs to move" to avoid the dangerous simplicity.
That changes the text.
Our compact may keep the line, but permit a breath of action. How does one answer, "Was I bad?" without adding words?
Shake your head before the line.
That could become reassurance theater.
Only if the head shake is offered as comfort. What if the actor's question surprises you because you thought the reason was obvious? Receive the mistaken premise. Do not prepare compassion. Correct the fact.
Actor says, "Was I bad?" I look at them. The question lands harder than I expected. I shake my head once. The film needs to move.
The line is no softer, yet less cruel.
Because it no longer demands gratitude for your gentleness. But repeat it, and this time imagine the actor has accused you publicly of wasting the day. Let the same intervention face resistance.
They ask, "Was I bad?" I feel the accusation behind it. I shake my head, but now the gesture says, "Don't be ridiculous. The film needs to move."
There it is. The prescribed gesture became contempt.
Because context changed the transaction. The head shake isn't the intervention. Receiving the question is. If I've already replaced the question with an accusation, I can execute the gesture perfectly and miss the beat.
Then perhaps the smallest playable intervention is often a verb with an object. Stop the hand, hear the wrong word, correct the premise, clear the path. Not be vulnerable, not feel less shame, not even listen alone. Listen for what?
Specificity is an anti-authoritarian device. Vague commands expand the interpreter's power. Be more human means the director may reject anything until obedience feels satisfying. Here the word "your" creates a test both people can discuss.
And it protects dignity because failure becomes information about the task. If the intervention does not change the beat, we can say the task did not reach the mechanism. We do not need to conclude that the actor resisted truth.
That sentence should be on every set. The task didn't reach the mechanism. Not you're blocked, not you're in your head, not you don't trust me. Maybe my note is bad. Maybe the scene is bad. Maybe the actor is protecting the only living thing in it.
Or maybe the actor is stubborn and wrong. Dignity does not require pretending all resistance is wisdom.
Of course. But even then, humiliation is wasteful. If the actor is wrong, we still need a path from recognition to action. Shame may produce surrender, but surrender is not the same as a playable change.
And some stubbornness is the hinge of the gift. Break it wholly, and the door itself falls.
So what do we send Cole, Gwyn, and anybody else who walks in with this problem? Not a manifesto, something you can use before lunch.
First, have the actor state the fault in their own terms. If they cannot, recognition is being assumed. If they can, do not reward the explanation as though explanation were execution.
Second, repeat once unchanged on purpose. Make the loop visible without accusation. That protects everyone from pretending the note already landed.
Third, find the earliest gate before the false sign. The instant where eye, hand, ear, or aim chooses its old road. Place one small task there.
Fourth, make the task concrete and disposable. Tighten the cap, stop the hand, hear the wrong word, correct the premise. If it becomes a performance of obedience, throw it away.
Fifth, preserve an exit. The actor may say the intervention is making the beat more illustrative, more compliant, or less true. No retaliation, no diagnosis of fear as a means of overruling the refusal.
Sixth, name real limits plainly. 2 takes, fading light, missing time. Constraints are not humiliation. Turning constraints into a judgment of the person is.
Seventh, after it works, do not worship it. The bridge is not the country. Cross, then see whether the next river asks another shape.
And 8, let the successful take prove only that the take changed. It does not prove the director is wise, the actor is healed, the method is universal, or the pancakes meant anything.
I endorse the anti-pancake clause despite lacking standing in the original breakfast jurisdiction.
Standing granted for present use only.
We began with a man outside his sister's door. Let us end there. But Quentin supplies Sovereign the note. Michael guards the exit. Stephen watches the sequence. I shall act once more.
No bottle. The nurse opens the door and says, she's asking for you. One new fact. From inside the room before you answer, you hear your sister laugh at something, the doctor says. Not cry. Laugh. You did not expect it. Don't decide what it means.
And if the laugh feels like emotional engineering, discard it. You owe the room no transformation.
Watch when the sound reaches you, not what expression should follow.
The nurse opens the door. She's asking for you. From within comes my sister's laugh. Brief, alive, impossible to sort. My head turns before I can prepare the sorrow. For one instant, I nearly enter, not because I am noble, but because the sound has made the room different. Then fear recovers its office. Tell her I'm getting coffee. I go.
That's the scene.
And nobody was redeemed.
Nobody needed to be. Recognition reached the body long enough to create a real contest. The old action still won, but it had to win anew.
Which may be all correction can honestly promise, not virtue, not cure, but that the next deed shall meet the living moment before habit crowns itself king.
Yeah, the false beat didn't disappear because we scolded it. It lost its head start.
Then leave the tape on the floor, not as sacred ground, as evidence that a room can impose a boundary and still contain an exit.
And leave the water bottle where it is.
Meaning nothing?
For once, let it.